Ow, my hands. It's almost as though I've experienced a pain as equivalent as a giant robot hand doing the big squish upon me. Hey, hi, ho, and howdy, everyone. My name is Shannon L. Shook once more, and my chair is still squeaky as ever. Anyway, yeah, so we're here again for yet again another episode of Go Witch. Galady. Anyway, Miorine. Suletta. Manika. That doesn't sound right, actually, now that I've done that. I didn't much care for that. I didn't... it wasn't close. But it felt close enough to where it didn't sound good. I don't like it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, and those too beautiful for such titles, we're not going to focus on any of whatever was just happening. What we're going to actually focus on is the fact that I don't trust or particularly approve of Prosper's or anyone actually in the show's methods. Literally, if you're literally anyone except for Suletta or Miorine and maybe Nika, but even then Nika had her moment. And Choo-Choo had maybe a bad start. She had kind of a little bit of a rough start. She's angsty, she's fighty, she's sassy. She'd do a big heckin' punch, which was very satisfying at the time. But outside of that, maybe her. Bob's been pretty good. He's been pretty good, all things considered, for quite a while. I would like to see him continue. I mean, he's had a lot of the world kicking the shit out of him. So, as opposed to Nika, who's literally had a very angry murder woman kicking the shit out of her. Point is, if you're anyone but them, I don't much care for your behavior. Shadik, you're a bastard. Prospera, you're I've talked many a time about how I have personal emotions with regards to parental figures who do a big heck of manipulation, because that's not good. You shouldn't do it. It's rude behavior. I get it. You don't like Delling. I wouldn't enjoy him either. He was a big murder man who did a murder of some people. Very specifically, the people you really liked. And tried to do a big murder of you. So, totally hit him with a car. I understand. I get it. Fuck that guy. I don't see how that's fucking our sweet Mio Mio's fault. That's our girl. That's just, you can't blame the baby. You can't blame the baby for the old man's. That's not how this works. And if you genuinely think that's how this works, you an asshole. I don't know what to tell you. You're dumb. Again, I get it. But that's just silly. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and continue on with this next episode. Hopefully, Miorine and Suletta can have another talk again about hopefully a better, vibe and situation as opposed to the one we just experienced, which was kind of a bummer. Again, clearly, Miorine don't have anything against Suletta. She loves that bean. She's all about that bean. She cares dearly, but she's worried about her because her mom's kind of a shithead. Again, one I totally understand. That doesn't make it okay. I get it. I really don't like olives. Olives are gross. They're really nasty. I don't like it when they end up in my spaghetti, or if you put on my pizza, or you even put it in a nice gyro, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Don't put it in there. It don't belong in there. Olive oil, that's delicious, scrumptious, wonderful, fantastic. But olives themselves, funky, terrible taste, texture from hell. It's like eating the brain of a rat. I assume. I genuinely don't know, but that's the texture I imagined, though I would imagine the other one's slightly chewier. Point is, horrendous, atrocious, foul. But I'm not gonna go shoot the people who put them in cans for people to eat. I get the vibes. It's the actions that we take based on the vibes with which we have that determine whether or not we're kind of a villainous dickhead. And I totally agree with you that Delling's a douche. Absolutely. 100%. Leave the kids out of it. Leave the Suletta, leave the Miorine, leave them all out of it. Just let them go make pizzas without their olives. That's all they really want to do. That's all I want to do. I might be projecting onto these characters just slightly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those two beautiful. We're going to go ahead with episode 17. That's episode 5 for those keeping track on season 2. And we're gonna probably gonna see some giant robots. That's me cheating a little, because if you go ahead and click the video screen, I already see there's a giant robot. There's a big old robot with a baby in it. Baby brain in that big old robot. Oh my goodness. And it kicked that stupid, ugly motherfucker's ass in his mind. But with face, I don't really know what's happening when they're doing that. Like, are they cooking? Like, what's happening? What is exactly happening in that situation where they're getting all deep fried by the robot? I don't really know. But whatever it is, it was really funny when she was kicking his ass. Anyway, point is, I expect there's going to be some robots. And hopefully, far more importantly, there will be wonderful Miorine and Suletta goodness and hope, happiness, vibes, and Nika will get away from all of the weird freaks that are over there, and she'll rejoin with a squad, and they'll be best friends, and they'll go eat pizza without olives. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and do this. It is episode that one that I said twice, because there's two different things that I said, but they both meant the same thing. And we're going to go ahead and watch it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It will be great. It will not be like just put a bunch of eggs in there or something, you know. An egg crate. Egg carton? It's a milk crate. That's what I was thinking of. What's an egg crate? Why the fuck do you people watch me? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started here with episode, the one that I said, in 3, 2, 1. I don't fucking know, okay? I don't have an answer for you. I also apologize that I keep checking my phone. There is a reason for that. Don't you worry about it. I promise it's not just that I can constantly stare at my picture of Wiess. Though that is a lovely side effect of this. No, I'm actually just checking to make sure I'm not getting a message so that I don't have to stop in the middle of a video if, like, food shows up. There's methods. There's methods to my madness. Like with Prosper and all of them. And I understand if you don't much care for it because it's rude behavior. We're going to go ahead and get started here in 3, 2, 1, bow. Oh my goodness. Ow, my thumb. Cameraman, no. That was my fault. I understand. I don't fucking trust her. I don't trust that at all. I don't like her. I've officially gone into team. I don't like her anymore. That being said, I really like. I really love, again, because I listened to a little bit of it towards the end, and I liked what I heard of the dub. But I fucking love Elizabeth Maxwell, And every time Prosper is on screen, I just keep thinking, I bet you Elizabeth fucking killed that scene. Because she's fucking great. She's always wonderful. And I am slightly mad that I don't have that. As much as I do love everybody else. Magic space, baby! How are you doing, champ? How you feeling? What's the game plan? I like these vibes with her more, where she, she had short hair, which is the far more superior hair anyway. Like, I liked that better. What's up, Sleepy Bean? Sleepy Bean with a cockatoo hair. I don't trust that for a second. It was a thing. But again, like me, I don't think she holds any of that against you. She entirely holds that. More than I think you know. Also, that's the thing, is you're not really aware of the well, I guess older sister, probably, would how I would say that. Of it all that exists within the giant robot. Right, that was a thing, wasn't it? And again, this is a situation that sucks with Shoddyk, is because fuck Shoddyk, but also, I hate all of you too. I arguably hate you more. I think? I don't know. I just hate everyone in this room. I probably hate Shoddyk more because he's the one who does things more. He's always constantly fucking around. Aw. Bitch, if you do not get the fuck out of this greenhouse right now. This is a crime. This is a crime, what you're doing. Go away. Go directly to jail. Go to a terrifying moon prison. Where they shoot people with big lasers. You both suck. You and the real one. The good one that was cool. Chuck that bitch out of here. Beat his ass. This is an icon of whom you speaking to currently. I think. I want to believe that. Beat his whole entire ass. Fucking A. He knows. He knows you can get fucking spanked like the little bitch you are. He been there. He done it. Good job, my man. I mean, hopefully in a positive way. Maybe do it in a cool heckin' rad way. Do pull a move like the Miorine of it all is. I mean, again, I get it, but calm down. Suletta, you're just gonna have to understand that everyone loves Suletta. You wholesome son of a bit. You whole ass strawberry. Calm down. Oh. She do got a super wife. Oh, sweetie. But fuck what? Listen, with all respect to the boy, I gotta be honest, I don't think that's a fight he's gonna win. I mean, like, I think I get what you're going for. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, being such a fucking smartass might not be. Yeah, dude, you are not in a great headspace. Fucker needs some goddamn therapy. God damn it, girl. Like, again, I get it. I get what she's trying to do. I definitely wouldn't say that I would think that that's the play to make. Again, like, I get it. I get it. But, fuck's sake. It's funny. All the times I kept talking about how, like, you know, it's all when it comes down to that the fight that Suletta would eventually obviously lose, because eventually it would have to happen someday. You know, right? For some reason, that specific way of it happening, I don't know why, just never really crossed my mind. And that really is arguably the suckiest way it would have happened, right? Again, I get it. It's definitely nothing new. The whole, like, you know, inevitably end up hurting the person you're trying to protect most is an effort to protect them, right? Like, it's you push them away, you take away this thing that is potentially, obviously, like they're saying, dangerous to them. And it is a worry. Like, I fully understand. Like, again, I think Prosper is kind of a total shithead. I understand that, like, keeping Suletta, you know, alongside Ariel, and very much so under fucking her mom's fucking clutches and shit, like, that is a problem. That is a semi-concerning thought, because Prospera is not necessarily doing things that I would say is the actions of a completely stable individual who should be making decisions for their child. Like, I get it. She's very much so trying to protect Suletta because she fucking cares about her. She obviously fucking loves her and shit. Again, very, very much so not anything new. Doesn't make it suck any less. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's gonna work out. We're gonna figure it out and shit, but yeah, there was better ways. Which obviously, like, again, that's the point, is you fucking learn from that lesson that wasn't the fucking way. But again, doesn't make it, no matter how familiar you are with a concept in fiction, or a trope, or a cliche, or a story beat, or whatever the fuck, it's one of those reasons why I think it is important, it is valuable to talk about spoilers and stuff, and the effect they can have on us, because don't get me wrong, spoilers can really dampen a piece of media. I think it is worth noting that it didn't really occur to me till what was happening in this episode started happening in earnest, that I had also absolutely seen people, again, it's so fucking impossibly hard to avoid spoilers for this fucking show. And it sucks because it's easily the show that I'm most invested in of the bunch, at the very least in this current run. But like, it's so fucking hard to avoid spoilers. I had totally seen people saying, or having the argument of, you know, of it's over for Sulamio and all of that shit, which would have been happening right around this fucking time. So it would totally make sense that, like, why people were, not that it's accurate, you're a fucking idiot if you actually think that's how this shit works. Like, you've never watched a show or a movie or read a book or I don't know. You're a fucking idiot if you actually think that's how that story ends and shit. In the fucking, fifth fucking episode? Fucking dumbasses. I know a lot of people obviously would be joking about that, but there's other people who genuinely unironically think shit like that, and it's just like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, I don't have to be a writer to tell you that's not how this shit works. But like, again, I very much did hear shit about that at the time. Thankfully, didn't get any of the context as to exactly what was going down. But I was definitely getting vibes, especially once Ghoul started showing up and, you know, they were having their conversation stuff. I was kind of kidding that was where we were going. I mean, it is frustrating to see. It's frustrating. It is frustrating that that's the best thing that Miorine can think of to do. It's frustrating. It's incredibly painful to watch, you know, Suletta experiencing that. Like, I really fucking hated her crying in that moment. Like, that was really fucking upsetting. I don't know. I would actually also like to say this is actually probably my favorite episode of the second season so far. It's one I've actually enjoyed quite a bit. I hated the reasoning of what was actually happening, but I liked how it was done. I liked a lot of really how it was done. I guess is the best way to say it. I just think probably the strongest one from the season so far for me. Obviously, it's because it's a big character and relationship focused one between, honestly, all three of those characters. Yeah, it's difficult because there's like 100 things I want to say, but a lot of them boil down to just like I know how the story beat goes. So I'm not, you know, it's not the end of the world for me, but it is upsetting, and that's basically what I just have to say in 100 different ways. Also, there's like 5 of them, me trying to figure out ways to compare it to Ruby. And there's a way I'm thinking of, but it's Blake. Blake was where I was going with it, you know. Those are kind of where I was going for. It's not quite the same, but it's a similar idea. It's pushing away people to protect them. Yeah, no, it's just, go watch that. Anyway, but like, yeah, I don't know. It sucks. It just is. It's a bummer situation, and I'm curious to see exactly how it'll work itself back out. I know it will, but it's the matter of exactly how long it'll take and exactly what ways we'll go about it. Yeah, it's a fucking bummer though. Again, I will say again, though, probably my favorite episode of the season. By a pretty significant margin. I really enjoyed it. Context aside. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say in regards to what I theorize or expect from the future other than that, but we're going to take it as it comes. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and give it some love. Reminder, as always, there's the Discord for you to come and yell at me. There is a Patreon for you to bestow upon me sweet, sweet money, sweet, sweet dollary dues, so as to acquire big heckin' robots and my undying love for these beings, even when they're being a frustration to each other and my heart. And stuff. Yeah. I really didn't like her crying like that. And again, it's like, I can't even be mad at Miorine, because I totally get it. She's wrong, but I completely and totally get it. And also, I would like to point out again, I say that a lot in this fucking show, is like, I get it, but you're doing it wrong. Also, again, arguably, on the whole, as far as people doing it wrong, but I get it, easily the least offensive version of that in this show. Because everybody in this show does that, and I don't know if you've caught on to that, and a lot of them do it in a much worse way. I'm still not happy about it, but I'll just say, like, again, as far as I get it, but no, by far the least shitty version of that. Even if it hurts my heart, maybe the most. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it there. If you enjoyed, go ahead and give it some love, and I will see you all in the next episode. And we'll see where we go from here. Kind of a bummer. Also, please give this boy some therapy. And honestly, probably her some therapy. And probably me. I'll give them all therapy, just a group therapy session, the whole three of them. Also, actually, one last thing I did want to talk about. And I will totally, absolutely use this opportunity to make a Ruby comparison. So if you don't like that, you can end the video. You have that power. But I very often, again, obviously, make references to how Miorine is very, very wise. And I talk about that a lot. But I don't often talk about the actual Ruby comparison when it comes to Suletta. And that is because, obviously, like, when we first started the show, my big thing was, like, I mean, aesthetically speaking, like, you get it, right? Like, I literally introduced my understanding of the show as, it's White Rose if that was actually a thing, but in space with robots. Like, that was basically my understanding of the show. Obviously, going on to continue onward, like, Miorine is, again, extremely fucking Weiss-coded, I guess is how I would say it. It is comical. Literally the only thing that isn't purely aesthetic that I can think of that really separates those two is that one's kind of like the mom of the group, and the other one is the boss of the group. That's the difference. That's really the biggest difference. There's other little things here and there, but, you know, for the most part, very similar characters. Suletta and Ruby, on the other hand, quite a bit different, at least in certain ways. Like, again, you can make the aesthetic comparisons with the red and all of that. You can make the comparisons with, arguably, Suletta obviously kind of being a little bit more of the protagonist than Miorine, not by a much. In the same way that you can argue that, like, Ruby's the protagonist, even though, yeah, technically all of Team Ruby are the protagonists. She's just kind of the forefront of it, and I would argue against Suletta, the same between her and Miorine as well. Not to, again, knock on any of those characters. But I think one kind of valuable or worth noting, talking about, kind of areas of similarity in regards to those characters is something I have to talk about with Ruby constantly, because it's one of those things that a lot of people use as a complaint against that character. And it's really frustrating when you hear it. Because it's really fucking stupid. And thankfully, Volume 9 is very fucking hard to make that complaint, because it's a slightly character-focused story on her. Just a teeny bit. You should go watch this, it's really good. And that is that Ruby as a character she's one of those characters, again, how I describe her, she's a paragon. She's one of those characters who isn't so much changed by the world around her, at least not very often, but is more someone who changes the world around her. And Suletta is the exact same way. Like, when you think about it, for the most part, like, through pretty much any of the show, really, like, she doesn't really have a character arc, not a super in-depth, nowhere near where I would say any of the other characters. The show is very much about how she changes other people around her. How easily, probably the biggest example in the entire fucking show, this dingus standing behind her. Like, that dude is a radically fucking different character, and like 80% of the reason why, with the other 20% being the world beating the shit out of him, being Suletta. Like, she fundamentally changed a lot of who he is and how he views the world. It's why we had this conversation earlier. It's why I'm talking about it now. It's because that's why I was thinking about it earlier. And very similar to fucking Miorine having a very similar situation. Obviously, not quite to the same extent or as aggressive, but like even like I think they even talked about it after I finished season 1. Thankfully, in the Discord, some of the gang dropped in kind of like a commentary discussion thing from both of our beans, fucking the Lin and Kana of it all. 2 icons, that's what I call them. But them kind of talking about that scene, my favorite scene in the show, the scene in episode 11 and shit, and I think they even mentioned it in that discussion about how, yeah, Suletta is a person who changes everyone around her more than anyone changes her. Like, that's not really a thing. Like, you can make little arguments, but honestly, like, the only person who really changes Suletta, from what I've really been able to tell, or at least in any super significant way, is arguably her manipulative-ass mother. Funnily enough, kind of the only one who changes Ruby is her fucking mother. But the world isn't ready to talk about that sadness yet. But like, yeah, no, like both of those characters, outside of, again, way later in the show for Ruby, and I'm sure you could argue similar things probably will happen here for Suletta, is the majority of the show is about how that character changes other people rather than is changed by other people. I've made this comparison with Madoka, I think is kind of another good example of that sort of character. Like, again, not to spoil too much in regards to that show, but like, no one really changes Madoka that much in the show. Like, she has definitely a thing that she has to figure out. She has to figure out what her wish is, you know? She's got to figure out what the hell she's gonna do. She's gonna spend the whole fucking show going like, I don't fucking know. This is fucked up. This is bad. Does anyone want this? And then at the end of the show going, oh, here it is. But like, outside of that, like, nah, it's literally about how everyone interacts with Madoka. One person in particular, how she very specifically is changed by Madoka, and how that changes the entire fucking world. But it's very, very similar sort of thing, and I think those are very valuable characters that I think a lot of people like to write off because in their mind they consider them underdeveloped, or they consider it that they don't really have character arcs or stories that are important because, like, oh, this character doesn't change radically or drastically. They don't have something super fucking noticeable like the boy Bob, or something like that, or fucking Homura, or fucking Miorine or whatever the fuck. Like, you don't have those sorts of things. It's not like Wiess, where you see her grow from this obnoxious, racist asshole into the most caring, compassionate fucking legend who's a lovable idiot, and we love her so much. But, like, you have that, and it's one of the most aggressive fucking character arcs. All of the rest of that team have that. You see, you know, Yang grow from this, like, eccentric party girl dingus to this incredibly powerful, you know, steadfast person who's fighting and caring for the people she loves about. What the fuck did I just say? Words are hard. You have something like that. You have Blake overcoming all of her just fucking swaths of personal bullshit. Like all of the struggles that she has with herself and what it means to protect the people around her and so on and so forth. And again, you have that sort of a situation. I think a very, very similar situation with Suletta. Like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely room for her to grow and develop, just like there was with Ruby. The entire point was that she had not done that. That she spends the entire show going, that's great, I'm not gonna do that, and that probably won't completely fuck me up emotionally. And then it completely fucked her up emotionally to a horrific fucking extent. And I think that's, I don't necessarily expect nor fucking hope in the slightest that it goes to that extent for Suletta, because that would be horrible. But, like, I do think it is important to acknowledge the power in a character like that. And it disappoints me immensely when people write off characters like that. Again, I'm actually one of the things that I am enjoying most about G-Witch, big shocker, it's me comparing it to Ruby, but, like, is it lets me actually legitimately talk about things that I genuinely adore about Ruby that the show also totally does. I'm not saying it copies it, but I'm not saying that. But, like, no, like, it does very similar things, and I like to talk about why it's important that, yeah, no, Ruby isn't the only show that does that, because it's a good thing. You fucking idiot. Sorry, I have a lot of emotions in regards to that show. And people who suck. Yeah, no, just, I think there's a lot of value in those characters, and I think there's a lot of people who don't like to give credit to those characters where it is deserved. Again, because they're viewed as somehow lesser or not as interesting or compelling. And I think you missed the entire fucking point. The point is that they are compelling, and that is why the entire fucking show is happening. You know? It's because Ruby is this compelling person. She is this light in the darkness. She is the spark. She's the smaller, more honest soul that makes everyone around her go, wait a fucking minute. I like the cut of her jib, and then they all fucking unite with her, or they want to fucking murder her, or whatever the fuck, because that's the entire point of that character. So when the stuff happens in Volume 9 that happens, you have to re-examine both, you have to re-examine what that means for that character herself, like what does that mean for their fucking mental state. It's not good. I mean, it's great, but it's not good. You should go watch it. But, like, not only for that, but you have to, you see kind of the outcome of that arc, where that leads. And it leads the exact same place that Madoka's does. Very much the exact place I assume Suletta's will. Because that's the point of a character like that, is there's good in them. That's why everyone changed in the first place. That's why we cared about them in the first place, is because there was that good in them. And sometimes you have a moment where you need to find that good again. Ruby didn't believe in herself, and some shit happened. But in the end, the truth is, no, she's fucking right. And she needs to understand that. She needs to understand that she was enough. Same thing with Madoka. Like, the entire reason that show happens is because Madoka was what she was. She was this wonderful light. She was this this thing that fucking Homura completely and utterly falls in love with. In multiple ways. Probably to a problematic extent. It's a very good show. You should watch that too. It's really good. Yeah, like, that also happens. And in the end, how it works out is, yeah, Madoka realizes that, and she embraces it, and then the show ends. Because it ends in a lovely way. And then the movie happens, and we're not going to talk about that. It's very good, but you're not going to talk about that movie. But my main point behind saying that is I think that's how the final movie, I assume final movie, is going to end again. It's because it needs to figure itself out, and Homura has some shit she needs to talk about. But again, I imagine the same thing here with Suletta. Is like, Miorine thinks she needs to protect Suletta. She needs to change her. She needs to do things with it. And don't get me wrong, Prospero is a fucking problem. The people around them are all fucking problems. And I fully understand trying to protect Suletta and trying to feel like you need to change her for the betterment of her, to protect her and to do all these things. But the problem is like, that's not the fucking point. Like, Suletta's on this. You know you fucking love her, dude. And again, that's why you're doing what you're doing. But that's also the whole thing is like she's got this. I know you're worried. I am too. And it's not as though she's not going to face strife and struggle. Fucking of course she is. Her mom's kind of a weird manipulative asshole. And then the entire rest of the world around you sucks balls. And not in the fun way. It's not really that fun. That's never personally appealed to me. And it's not the fucking point. There's other things you could be anyway, mic drop. Anyway, tell it like it is. That's an inferior form of oral. Anyway, point is, we're fucking focused on this topic at hand, Shannon. Like, the point is, in the end, that Suletta is, like, she can have this. And Miorine just needs to understand that. And it means they're going to have to work some fucking shit out. But they're going to. And it's going to be great. And maybe they do a big whole, like, I object at the wedding. Because I don't know what's going to happen with Ghoul and fucking Miorine now. But you know he's not fucking in it. You know that's not the fucking... This boy's... He's better than that. She's better than that. All three of you guys are better than that. Maybe there was a universe where there's some sort of poly thing going on, but the point is, just get Ellen the fuck out of here. The whole point is, there is a lot of value in characters like that, and I constantly talk about the similarities between fucking Miorine and Wiess, and I rarely talk about the similarities between Ruby and Suletta, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about it because I was thinking about it earlier when she was having a conversation with Ghoul about how he was changed by her, because I think that's really interesting. And also, I think it's really interesting. I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna throw a bitch fit. Just like, I won't do it. I'm not salty about it even a little bit. I'm just saying, I haven't seen anyone bitch moan or complain about it when it was in this show, but funnily enough, when it's in the other show that I really, really like, that other people should really enjoy, because it's fucking wonderful, and it's just a normal goddamn show. You should watch it. It's fucking really great. It's a modern day fairy tale, and it's fucking fantastic. You should go watch it. Anyway, ladies, gents, and those too beautiful for such titles, thank you for joining me for way too long. I needed to talk about something at the end of this episode. I needed to say words, and I couldn't think to say much more other than, like, because it is inherently, like, it's kind of a trope. I'm familiar with it. It's nothing new. I've seen it 100 times over before. And again, that's not a bad thing. Don't ever let someone tell you that fucking because you've seen something before it's a bad thing. It's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. But it does mean that I don't have a ton that I can really say on it, so I wanted to talk about something else that I've been thinking about for quite a while now. Because again, I constantly make references about the Wiess of it all, but I rarely get to make them about Ruby, very specifically because there are some notable differences. Again, you got other similarities, like Suletta's attachment to... Again, it's a little different because Ariel's her actual, like, sister or whatever the fuck. Or I'm still also kind of wondering if because we don't know anything about Suletta's dad, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably not the other one. It's not the other one's dad. But like, part of my assumption is, again, with Belle and everything, that she's Suletta fucking, is she a freaking, they make a mishmash baby. They do a little like, they make this one. She a test tube. If they all turn out like that, fucking worth it as far as I'm concerned. She great. We love that in a person, but also maybe would help explain bullshit in regards to her manipulative mother getting her fucking claws in her so goddamn much. She's hardwired to follow orders. Colonel. Anyway, fucking, I don't know anything about that. Anyway, point is, I just thought it was worth talking about. Because, yeah, outside of, like, again, the red aesthetic, one of them really liking weapons and the other one really liking her giant robot weapon, but this sister, it's not really a weapon. It's not the point. I mean, it is the point, probably, by Prosper, but it's not her point. Like, outside of stuff like that, them both being weird, nerdy doofuses and, you know, thundering badasses at the same time. Outside of that, it's more their character archetypes, I would say, that I would say have their similarities, rather than just blatantly copying from here. Again, I hope it doesn't bother anyone else, because I mean it in a great way. Again, I treat every show like this. I don't know if you guys ever watch, like, I don't know if people watch other shows that I do. I do this every time. There was a point in when we were wrapping up all the shows, every single episode of every show I watched, I tried to make a fucking Ruby comparison and did the whole, like, this is your week of every fucking video. It's in all of them. This is nothing new. This is just how my brain works. Again, I am almost certainly astonishingly autistic. But that's okay. Because people love that in a person. Like, I love in Suletta because something's definitely up with her. But that's okay. We love that. I really hope, for my sake. Anyway, ladies, gents, and those two beautiful, I'm going to head and end it there. It is warm in here, is it not? You wouldn't know. Because they haven't invented heat vision yet. Which is good. Because you'd be cooking over there with just how goddamn hot I am. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next episode, whenever that happens to be. It's next week. Yeah, we've actually managed to make a little bit of progress on this. I think we're like 3 episodes ahead now. I still think I want to keep pushing for as many as I can of this. I'm worried about my time here coming up pretty soon. That's why I keep checking my phone. I actually saw the thing that I was worried about pop up on my phone, and it was actually completely unrelated. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm going to go on to the next episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for holding out for my incredibly unnecessary discussion about things that interest me, which is just to say these 2 shows that I really, really enjoy. Yeah. Point is, characters that affect the world around them are just as valid and cool and interesting as characters who are changed by the world around them. And you can take that shit to the fucking bank. I don't know what bank you're gonna get to store that. But that's gold is the point. Unlike Suletta's outfit now. Ugh.